I'm Dana Jacobson from CBS Saturday Morning. Welcome to The Dish. Today, we're going to talk about tacos and the restaurants that bring the mouth-watering Mexican cuisine to the table. We visited a Philadelphia taqueria that lends a hand to people recovering from addiction or newly released from prison. And we visit Dallas, Texas, to follow the first ever taco editor for Texas Monthly Magazine as he goes along to a few of his favorite spots. But first, we meet the founder of one of the fastest growing restaurants in the country. Dario Wolos started selling tacos out of a vintage Volkswagen bus. Now his taco empire, Tacombi, is located in 7 states across the country. The name Tacombi is a combination of 2 things that can be found all over Mexico: tacos and buses called combis. Tony DeCopel sat down with Wolos to learn about his mission to bring Mexican food and culture to all.
It's nice to be back in here.
Yeah, it feels okay.
There's a good reason this old VW bus is parked in the middle of a New York City restaurant.
So the tacos would come over the top to people here?
Yep. We'd press the tortillas right here, and then we'd put them on the griddle.
The bus used to be the restaurant.
I cut open the combi, like basically cut the roof off it, right? So I could peel it back, so you could stand up inside.
But so you cut it with what, like a metal saw or shears or what?
You know those circular metal saws? Just got on top of the bus and just cut right through it.
So you only get one shot at that.
You do. You get one shot. Puro pico de gallo.
Dario Wolos has turned that shot into a gathering empire of taquerias, making Tacombi one of the fastest growing restaurants in America, all with a mission of sharing Mexican food and culture. And it started when he was just another 20-something working for an internet startup, looking for the comforts of home.
There was a taqueria in Boston, and I remember I would go to it, and it wasn't hitting that spot. Then this company asked me to open up the London office, and I go over there, and there was no Mexican food in London. I started talking about it a lot with my friends. One of them said, Dario, you should start your business here in Mexico. He's like, you don't know what you're doing. You've been talking about maybe opening it up in London, and maybe it's better you lose all your money here. And I was like, all right.
The name Tacombi is a mashup of the words taco and combi, meaning bus.
It brought together these 2 things that are common all over Mexico, ubiquitous. Every person in Mexico has at some point ridden in a combi, you know, a VW bus.
VW bus, yeah.
And tacos, you know, every street corner city of Mexico has awesome tacos.
With the office life behind him, he parked his first Tacombi outside a nightclub in Playa del Carmen. And when travel to Mexico slowed in 2009, he moved his bus to New York City.
I can take credit for starting Tacombi, but I can't take credit for what it is today.
He hopes to take Tacombi to the rest of America and the world.
There's just so much positive intention that goes into delivering a taco. It's so simple, but there's just so much behind it.
As we learned when we stepped behind the counter with Oscar Hernandez, Dario's first hire at Tacombi and now the company's master taquero.
This is like one of our most popular tacos in Tacombi.
Hernandez showed us the Tacombi version of the famous Baja fish taco.
We use Atlantic cod. It's flaky, but it doesn't break when you fry it. And then we also dip it in beer batter.
The batter is made from Mexican beer, and when it comes out of the fryer,
it's a little tangy, spicy.
It's topped with a sauce made from Mexican chilies. And to keep it crispy, not salsa, but pickled veggies.
It's part of my daily diet. Yes, that's a perfect description.
Wow, so good.
When people ask you, like, how's that taco? And you say that, that's it.
How do people screw this up?
Something that I will definitely not recommend is go to the supermarket and pick up one of those bags that says Mexican cheese blend and add it to this taco. I mean, they're definitely...
Why? What's wrong with the Mexican cheese blend?
The Mexican cheese blend that I normally find on the supermarkets, I don't know what part of Mexico is that coming from.
How much experimentation went into this as I take the last delicious bite?
Well, there's been many thousands of tries at this. One of the things that we've learned over the years is how important the tortilla is.
So important, in fact, that when he couldn't find the quality of tortilla he was looking for in New York, he started making his own.
So no one's ever called you the Willy Wonka of corn?
Not yet, you're the first.
Inside a shiny new factory along the Brooklyn waterfront, he showed us the process of turning bags of corn into bags of corn tortillas.
We're making 150,000 tortillas a day.
150,000.
Yeah. And you can see when they come out, some of them, see how they fluff.
Yeah.
Right? That's what makes a really good tortilla.
You know what I love, actually? There's like little imperfections, but everyone is a little different, just like if you're making it in a home kitchen.
Totally. Pick your tortilla.
I love it.
So,
Oh.
a lot of people in Mexico, when you get tortillas on the table,
Yeah.
you roll it up and you'll dip it in your soup. Or
Yeah.
you're kind of like the way Americans eat bread, right?
His Vista Hermosa chips and tortillas now ship out to grocery stores nationwide. And Shake Shack founder Danny Meyer has invested millions in a plan to eventually build Tacombi restaurants all across America. But Woolo says success for him is defined by more than just sales.
You've been doing this for how many years now?
Tacombi overall is
Overall.
17 years now.
And it came from a place of love. You still love it?
Yeah, totally. It takes me back to growing up in Mexico. It takes me back to where I started Tacombi. When I was in Playa del Carmen, I used to go buy my tortillas at a local tortilleria. And you step into these tortillerias, and just like we did now, you have that smell of the fresh corn being ground and then cooked. It's pretty special.
So you're thousands of miles away from home, but in another way closer than ever.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Up next, how one taqueria in Philadelphia is giving its workers a second chance at life. Unity Taco serves up delicious Mexican cuisine, but it also extends job offers to people who are in recovery or newly released from prison.
Rich Schellenberger was a vice president at a top U.S. bank before partying led to 6 years of drug abuse.
When he was released from prison after getting a DUI, the only company who would hire him was Unity Taqueria. Waukesha Bailey has more.
A lot of people in recovery have a hard time finding jobs. That's usually because of the gap in their work history. Well, one local organization says that some of their best hires are those who have learned from their struggles.
If someone gives you a chance, you can show and you can have a comeback.
Rich Schellenberger prepares every taco with gratitude.
It was the mission that ultimately brought me in.
That's inside Manny Young's Unity Taco. As he prepares each burrito, he can trace back to the days he struggled with substance abuse as a vice president in a top 10 U.S. bank.
I was trading derivatives and doing hedge strategies.
Partying led to 6 years of using. Rich quickly went from being on top of the world to rock bottom.
I was a crystal meth addict and an alcoholic. I had been in a car accident and I got like a DUI and I had to go to prison. And so I thought my life was over.
After cleaning himself up, but still feeling hopeless without a job.
The gap in my employment. And I was putting applications in 25 a day. I just was not getting any responses at all.
Rich came across the only place that would hire him. Unity Taco not only gave him a job, but he's the general manager, where he's part of the fight to help others struggling in recovery.
I'm looking for people that have a desire to work and a desire to put effort in and they really want the job.
Director of Operations Trisha Vacinda says Unity Taco is part of Unity Brands that consist of different businesses like a yoga studio, a vegetarian restaurant, a support group, and their latest, coffee shops. Unity Java. All started by husband and wife, Robert and Ashley Ashford.
They're both in long-term recovery themselves. For some people that looks like justice involvement, for some people that is maybe being in recovery from substance use. It can also be family members that have been affected by that or friends who they've maybe lost.
At one point, Rich felt lost until he found his Unity family. Now he's responsible for hiring and giving others a second chance.
I have so much joy and freedom today than I ever had in my life. I am so much happier today. I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with where I am.
Well, there's obviously a need for these type of organizations. Unity Java says that they just recently opened up their second location, also in Manayunk, and it's doing very well.
Inside Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, San Francisco 49ers fans can find taco stand Puesto. It serves up 1,200 to 1,500 tortillas every day. Puesto also has a restaurant near the stadium, so non-ticket holders can enjoy all of the football action accompanied by their tasty tacos. Laureen Ayub sat down with culinary director Damian Bibb to learn how their fresh ingredients draw in the crowds.
Some come for the tacos, others for the drinks, but everyone leaves full and happy. Swing at Puesto in Santa Clara, where Niners energy is on all year long. These organic blue corn masa tortillas keep Damian Bibb extra busy. As the culinary director at Puesto's, he says the fresh ingredients draw crowds every day.
Ground fresh and cooked to order. We cook about 1,200, 1,500 tortillas every single day.
And that savory Oaxacan cheese wrapped around the meat is a fan favorite. With several Puesto concession stands at Levi Stadium, Damian says the restaurant has become a second home for the Niner gang.
Niners players, Niners fans, all here all the time. And what strikes me here is how cool they all are.
Niner legends of the past and present support Puestos on the daily. And bartender Mark Bell keeps the guests hydrated with freshly imported mezcals and more. His favorite part of Puestos?
Tasting the drinks I mean. They do body control.
And it's the kind of quality that keeps the business bustling on the daily.
There really is no better place to come in on Sunday and get the energy of the stadium and watch the game without being. We have a full drop-down TV in our dining room. We have play it behind the bar every Sunday. We're Niners to the core.
A sanctuary for iconic football and unforgettable tacos.
Next up, we head to the Lone Star State to meet the country's expert on a certain Mexican specialty. Jose Relat is the very first taco editor at Texas Monthly Magazine. He was born in Puerto Rico and didn't grow up eating the humble street food, but after years in Texas, his appreciation grew, inspiring him to tell stories that were at risk of being lost. Relat explains to our Omar Villafranca how tacos have a beginning, a juicy middle part, and an end.
In its simplest form, the taco is a tortilla with a filling, made from corn or flour, filled with beef or pork or even octopus. It's humble street food and elevated fine dining fare.
But it's so much more than that. It's grown to be one of the most popular foods in the world and a way to convey culture. You know, tacos are a force for good.
Jose Relat should know. He's the country's first taco editor for Texas Monthly.
Un orden.
Much like the food he writes about, Relat is both down to earth. He openly talks about his stutter, and highbrow. He won a James Beard Award for his work.
You won a very prestigious award that is usually given to people who write about white tablecloth places.
There's a legitimacy to everything. There's value in talking about what people often overlook. And people overlook Mexicans and Mexican food all the time, even the taco.
The Puerto Rican-born Relat didn't grow up eating the folding food, but after years in Texas, the taco's temptation inspired him to go headfirst into writing about the Mexican cuisine.
I was looking for a way to not only tell stories that were at risk of being lost, and I want to leave these stories for my son, because these are the stories of his people.
Stories like those of Mexican immigrant Rodolfo Jimenez. He's a lucha libre-loving former telenovela actor who brought his Guadalajara-style fare to Máscara's Mexican Grill in Dallas. Relat writes about how the beef birria taco saved Jimenez's restaurant.
It increased the sales like by 300%, but not only that. Now people knows the rest of the menu and they come because they know they won't find it anywhere else.
Did Instagram make the birria taco famous?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A little dip in there?
Dip.
That Insta-friendly dip into the birria or stew is a distinctly American twist. Mexicans drink it.
It's not just eating a taco, it's almost like a little experience, a ritual.
Yeah, and I still prefer it the old-fashioned way, in a bowl. Revolver's Gastro Cantina. It's fancy-ish tacos, but they're still traditional.
Since you need multiple sources on stories, and since CBS was paying,
look at all that food.
We tried another spot on the taco trail.
Everything we have here is eaten in Mexico.
Octopus, duck, tongue,
Yes.
beef tongue. What are you gonna have first?
I'm gonna go for this fajita because I have ordered it several times and have been told it's been sold out.
Oh, I like this. A CBS exclusive.
This is excellent border food.
I'm gonna try the octopus.
It's not supposed to be tidy and neat.
It's good. It's got the spices that you wouldn't expect with octopus. The taco, the tortilla itself is fantastic. When people try a taco like this that they may not have ever tried, what does it open them up to?
Hopefully, it teaches them that just because something is outside of their experience, it doesn't mean that it's illegitimate.
Ralat says tacos tell a story, and like stories, tacos have a beginning, a juicy middle part, and an end, meant to be enjoyed over and over again.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news, stream us right here on CBS News 24/7. I'm Dana Jacobson. We'll see you next time for another helping of The Dish.